My other AMC experience was going to the basement of this AMC that I didn't even know existed. You didn't even know it existed.
I mean, I knew it existed, but I thought they weren't using it or something. It's almost always like the escalator doesn't work and like they don't send you down there. I thought that was a subway
system down there, the way that they had titled some of the stuff. Smile had an early screening that we got to go see in the basement of what looked like the set of Phantom of the Multiplex, and it was jam-packed. People were there, and the crew was there too. There was some VFX people who stayed throughout the credits and were cheering for everything. And it turned out that they were part of the team, which, as we just learned, literally off of an interview, everything in this movie is somehow, you still not believe it, somehow practical.
I just don't. I don't
see how that's possible.
Yeah, there's a couple moments that like I feel like most of it's practical.
A lot of it's practical.
The climax of this movie is not practical. There's no way.
All I know is that it looked freaking insane. Story to the side, it's really a simple thing about, someone gets a really creepy smile, and if they see somebody else, they commit an atrocious act on themselves, and that causes this ripple effect between people that as long as they see somebody else smile and commit this act, they then too have a certain amount of time before it happens to them, unless it gets spread.
Ring rules.
It's ring rules. Yeah, it's a pretty simple premise. The acting, I think, was decent enough. You got A-Train from The Boys. You have, who I didn't know. I've seen her from some shows, but you're telling me it's...
Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick's daughter, Sosie Bacon?
Okay, sure. She's been in a couple of other stuff. I really liked her in the Prime show that she was in. I thought she was decent in this movie. She's got a good horror scream face. But again, it's those practical effects. It's a lot of what the movie builds up. I know you had described it as a particular type of movie.
Well, yeah, my view of it is it's like a really well done version of a movie I really don't like. There's a certain type of horror movie that's like purposefully abrasive. It wants to disturb you and upset you and unsettle you, and then it'll use jump scares, and it uses like horrific imagery, and it's loud too. And like, I'm not saying those are things that are bad. It's just things I don't enjoy because I don't enjoy feeling that way. Similar to how I'm not a big roller coaster person. Like, I just like, I don't like my body reacting physically.
You know, like those 5Gs hitting you.
Exactly. And like, there are people who love that stuff, and I think they'll really enjoy it because I think the jump scares aren't cheap, they're effective here, right? And there is like a really palpable sense of like paranoia and like just an unsettling feeling to everything that's happening. It works well, I think, and like you said, like it does feel practical and work, but I don't know, it is upsetting, right? Like, yeah.
I thought it was a really good horror movie in the sense that everyone who we were watching with was reacting to it.
Yeah.
I told you there was a dude who was sitting next to us, and he was a genius. He was on a date, and he pretended to watch the movie like this, right? So half the screen was covered. And then he had his phone responding to the exact same text for like 5 minutes straight. And his girl was watching the whole thing scared as can be. Mm-hmm. And as soon as the scene was done, he'd be like, what happened? Why are you so scared? And by the end of it, he thought it was his favorite movie, not having seen a single lick of the film at all. And because of that, I would recommend watching this movie with an audience, seeing the reaction a lot of people have. And you're 100% right. It is guilty of every horror cliche. But something about the movie makes it work because of the state that she is in. I would recommend it. It's definitely on the gory side. But
do you feel like this is going to be one that's remembered, as like some kind of like, I don't know, is this one that's going to last a couple of years, or is this just the latest kind of fun horror movie?
It's a mixture of both somehow, because like Truth or Dare is what I got a vibe off of for a lot of the trailers, when they kept like putting it in your face and everything, and that was a Blumhouse one that was kind of just like a splash in the pan and was just left there. I see it having as much traction as that, mainly because I do think that the visual effects that they bring into it are worthy of it. I think those are going to age beautifully. I want to see it again, just because the one that we saw it in was really dark, and I can't imagine Adobe Theater how well they would have projected this for the effects alone. And I think the story is decent enough. I would recommend it. And yeah, I'm curious to see how it does once it's
any horror fan should enjoy it,
and it made money. No, people were out there for it. That was the big thing. I know they were comparing it to the Black Phone, which was another one that made a decent amount of money coming in. So I could see this very much, especially now that we're in October, it crossing 100 mil. Because what other horror movie is? It's Black Adam. And La La Crocodile.
Yeah, bros.
But like in terms of horror movies in theaters, that's gonna be the one to catch. So
exactly. No, it's a perfectly timed release for this kind of movie too.
So I'm a little more positive than you are.
Yeah, but I still think like if this is like if you see the trailer for Smile and you want to see Smile, you should see it.
I thought it was gonna be a lot worse.
Yeah, same.
My final point here is y'all don't mess around with that Nicole Kidman ad, bro.
No. New York shows out for the Nicole Kidman ad.
I thought it was a bit. I thought it was a joke, but every single one that Nicole Kidman, people were standing up. They were giving her salutes. Obviously, SNL has their tribute 8 months later to the meme. Damn, bro, we were at the Angelica, and I swear someone was ready to just play it on their phone just to get the full experience.
Yeah, especially with the right kind of crowd. Like, there are some people who are just, like, cheering for it.
Reciting it,
just, like, loudly reciting it, too. But it makes you really excited for the movie. The thing that's cool is, like, it's the only time I've ever experienced something that feels like being at a film festival outside of a film festival.
So we don't do that in Chicago.
Yeah.
We like audibly groan when it comes out because we're like, oh, that's another 2 minutes that we have to wait.
Yeah.
Play the movie. But here, if it doesn't play, I feel like that's when people
exactly.
Avatar not being in 3D, no worries. But missing that ad, oh, we got a problem.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to the movies if Nicole Kidman isn't welcoming me to the theater.
So yeah, that's been the funniest audience reaction so far.